What's up, guys? Jacob Ober here. So, yesterday when I did my schedule release video, I told you guys that I was going to be releasing a 2019 Green Bay Packers schedule predictions video. So, that's what this video is going to be on. I'm going to go through every single game of the season and say whether I think it's a win or a loss. Keep in mind, it's still April, so take this video with a grain of salt. No one really knows what's going to happen next season. We still have to go through the NFL draft and OTAs and mini camp and then training camp and the preseason, etc., etc. So there's still plenty of time for things to change, and the outlook to change. But in the meantime, we're going to be going through the schedule and seeing what our way too early predictions are. So we're going to start with Week 1 against Chicago in Chicago. I'm going to say Chicago wins this one. I really want the Packers to win this game, obviously, the first game of the year for the entire NFL. But Chicago's at home. They're probably going to be really hyped up. And the Packers, obviously, having an inexperienced young head coach, maybe still trying to get into the swing of things, So I'm going to pick the Bears to win Week 1. That means the Packers are going to start off 0-1 on the year. They come home Week 2 against the Vikings. First home game of the year, I'm going to give the Packers the win. I think they are a slightly better team than the Vikings this year, so I would think that they would be able to beat them at home in their first home game. Then they play the Denver Broncos on Sunday at a noon game in Green Bay. This is the second of 3 consecutive home games for the Packers. I think the Packers win this one as well. Moving on to Week 4, this is a Thursday night football game against the Eagles. I say the Packers lose this one. This one is at home, but it's going to be a short week for them, and it feels like kind of a trap game in between or right before the Dallas Cowboys game. Cowboys game I anticipate is going to be a really big game, obviously being on a 3:25 game on national television. So the Packers lose that one, drop to 2-2. The following week, Week 5, they play the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say the Packers win this one. They have always played really well against the Cowboys, especially in Dallas. I think the Packers are going to win this one on the road in Dallas. Coming back home for a Monday Night Football game against the Lions the next week in Week 6. I think they're going to beat the Lions in this one, so that means the Packers through the first 6 games of the season will be, 4-2. So 4-2 I have through the first 6 weeks of the season. They come back home again to play the Raiders in Week 7. I think that's going to be a win as well. So that is a 5-2 record entering the gauntlet stretch of their schedule against Kansas City. Their first game, obviously, against Kansas City on the road, a Sunday night football game. I think the Packers lose this one to Kansas City. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a really entertaining game, but the Packers drop it. They drop to 5-3. Then the next week, they go on the road to face the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to say the Packers win this one. This is the game they're going to steal on the road. I think the Packers get an upset victory on the road here against the Chargers. This game is going to be another nationally televised game, it looks like, at a 3:25 slot, probably on CBS. So that puts the Packers at a record of 6-3. They come back home to face the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to say this one's a loss. Don't ask me why. I just feel like the Packers are going to lose this game at home against the Panthers. A lot of people are saying this one's a win. I don't know. Something about right now, it feels like it might be a loss. So that drops the Packers to 6-4. They go on the road to face the 49ers the next week. I'm going to say they beat the 49ers. Then they go on the road again, all the way across the country to face the Giants. I'm going to say they lose to the Giants. So throughout the first 12 weeks of the season, I have the Packers at a 7-5 record. So now they get to come back home. They face the Washington Redskins in week, let's see, which week is this? Week 14. Week 14, they come back home to face the Redskins. I'm going to say they beat the Redskins at home. So that gives them an 8-5 record. Then they have the Bears at home. Bears going to be a really good game at home. Probably going to have some playoff implications here, maybe even some divisional implications for the NFC North. I think the Packers win this one. They move to 9-5. Then they go on the road to face the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to say this is a loss. The Packers historically have not played very well in Minnesota. And at the end of the season, both teams are going to be fighting for a playoff spot. This is probably going to be a game, I think, that's going to be really high scoring. So I'm going to say the Vikings win this one. Packers drop to 9-6. Finally, the Packers finish out the season at Ford Field in Detroit. Again, another place where the Packers historically don't play very well. But I'm going to say the Packers win this one. They're going to finish out the season with a victory and clinch a playoff spot. I don't know if they're going to win the NFC North or not, but my final record prediction for the Green Bay Packers going through all the games, 10-6. I think the Packers are going to have a winning record this year. At the very least, I think they're going to be 9-7. I could definitely also see them, though, stealing that or winning that Panthers game. And, of course, if they don't slip up against the Giants, well, then that's a whole different scenario. Then they might be 12-4. Very, very best, I think that they could go 13-3. I really think they're going to lose probably to the Bears in Week 1, and one of their other divisional road games, whether that be the Lions or the Vikings, But really, I mean, I think 10-6 is a realistic prediction for the team this year. It's a new coach, new offensive system, got a lot of new players on both sides of the football. So really, I mean, it's going to be an interesting season. I really think it is. And obviously, it's only April. We have no idea how the season is going to turn out at this point. We don't even know who the Packers have drafted yet. And obviously, the draft, with the Packers having 2 first-round picks, is going to have a big impact on how the season shapes out this coming year. But in the meantime, though, it's always fun to do way too early predictions for the 2019 schedule. So anyways, guys, though, I'd love to hear what you guys think. What do you think the Packers' record is going to be this 2019 season? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Packers.